I am a Christian, I am a conservative, I am a Republican, and my roots run deep in Boyle County. Born in Boyle County in 1951. Lived here, graduated from Danville High School along the same alma mater as James Hunn. Go Rads, right? But my kids also graduated from Boyle County High School, so I got that rebel influence in me. All right? And I tell you, there's three things that have molded James Hunn and myself through our professional career. And that's our Air Force core values. And it's integrity first, excellence in all we do, and service before self. Whoa, that's pretty deep. It's pretty simple. The Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, they all have them. And they're similar. But when you throw that service in before self, that's a difference maker. And James and I have a servant's heart. And we've, like one of my general friends, we've eaten the same dirt and we breathe the same air, even though we didn't serve together in uniform. Everybody that's been in uniform knows what about the brotherhood. Pops knows about it, and others here I've met several veterans tonight. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine this country without those who stood in line like George Coomer and others to go and defend this country and to lift up our values and the morals that we have? Now, sometimes that got people in trouble. It's called mirror imaging, because we think people, humans, should live and value life like we do. We've been places around the world where we know that's not the case. But here in Boyle County, we value life. And we speak for the unborn and those that need our help, no matter where they are in their span of life. If they've fallen, we want to lift that hand up and lift them up. I'm not going to preach or anything tonight, but I'll tell you what. I asked my staff, Misty Galloway and Julie Wagner and others, I need to kind of think about some of the things we've done the last 3 years, because I don't stop and think about it. I just don't. That's me. We just do. I was blown away when we started writing stuff down. I didn't see it. But you have in your brochures in front of you a list of accomplishments in the last 3.5 years. Well, that's 9. I'm going to read some real quick to you, and I'm just going to stop with some of these that are not in those 9. We're funded through ARPA a brand new fire station out at North Point with Chief Sexton's group, Fire and Rescue, with 2 units going to be out there. We've told him to start building. That in itself will lower the insurance rates for the northern part of Boyle County from an insurance rate level of 9 down to 5. That's going to save several residents a lot of money. The next thing that people need to know that we did, we worked with the city and the health department, and we had COVID-19 YouTubes once a week to give people in the community updated information about the vaccine. Now, one of those things that are not on that list of 9 is I utilize my contacts, my connections in a positive way for Boyle County for Ephraim McDowell to become one of the first regional vaccination centers for COVID-19 vaccines. Now, things have changed. It's waned a lot. It's not as important as it once was. But when we did that, that was critical. And within 4 days of that award by Secretary Jim Gray of the Transportation Cabinet, they had 275,000 calls to schedule the vaccination. We have upgraded, or in the process, we haven't completed it, in the process of upgrading our software, financial software in the county, that has for the last 20 plus years has been Lotus 1, 2, 3 based and with a system that is DOS based called KVS. We're bringing the financial systems into the 21st century, and this will help us a lot. We've upgraded our communications thanks to our information technology director, Bill Nichols. Bill's back there in the back, and what he's done with Ring Central, and I can go on and list a whole lot of things. But he is one big thing, and this is a comfort zone for everybody in this room. If disaster ever strikes Boyle County like it did Mayfield and Graves County, we're ready. Literally, if we lost the courthouse and everything in it, Bill's processes and procedures and his attention to detail would allow us to functionally be back up and running within an hour. Mayfield didn't have that. Graves County didn't have that. Boyle County has that. Now, have I stumbled? I have stumbled, but with good intentions. When I first came in, Mr. Alan Goggin came to me and said, we have a problem. We have the contract to remove some dead animals from farmers. People said, why do we do that? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Some of them are environmental, some of them are health, and some of them are just being a supporter of agriculture in our community. But let me say this. There was a lot of things said about the process of removing dead animals from Boyle County. Some people had a lot of signs out, called Judge Hunt. He's the devil incarnate and all that. And I did look. My purpose was to look for the most efficient, economical way to satisfy a need that the agriculture community in this county had. And we looked at Perryville, and we looked at Alum Springs. We also looked in West Kentucky, Western Boyle County on US 68, some farms off of it. We looked at the land farm owned by the city of Danville off Stanford Road. And to no avail did any of them really suit the need for what we wanted to do. So what we did was listen to the people. We heard their objections. There was a lot of not in my backyard. We got it. But guess what? It's not in their backyard. We did not effectively raise the cost of doing business to remove the animals in this county at all to the county expenses. Because we worked out an arrangement with the Boyle Conservation and Soil Conservation District. They bought a truck, gave the keys to the county. We worked out an arrangement because they are the benefactors of our efforts. And they pay most of the toll to make that program work. And it's working very effectively at virtually no cost to the county. I had the great honor of about a week and a half ago, I was on Good Friday, to be invited out to the jail. My wife and I, April, we went out there, and we fortunately participated in Good Friday services at the invite of Jailer Brian Wofford and Chaplain James Hunn. There were several local pastors there. Brian Montgomery. I'm a little bit nervous, so I want everybody who participated was truly world-class, outstanding. And in that event, from 11:30 to 5:15 p.m., 17:15 military time, there were over 50 county inmates that dedicated their life to Christ. 7, if I remember correctly, James, have asked to be baptized.
7 asked to be baptized as of Monday.
And that's going to happen real soon, Brian, is that right?
Friday.
Next Friday.
Friday, 2 p.m.
Okay. I'm about to wrap up here, and then I want to talk about some things we want to do going in the future. We had tornadoes back in December. And I talked to Rob Coel out at the airport. He lives off Perryville Road. Many of you may know Rob. He's been around this town for most all of his life. And he's on the airport board like Marshall Wilt. At 5 a.m. in the morning, I was out there at the airport surveying the damage. Later on, I worked with airport staff. I didn't get in the way. I know better than that. I worked with airport staff on their plan of recovery and hosting our lieutenant governor from Harrisburg to witness the destruction. We talked about some advice in moving forward, and I sent letters to Senator Mitch McConnell for some assistance, and then we immediately started working with FEMA to get that initial assessment turned into a national declaration of disaster, which many of you don't know went all the way to the White House with the endorsement by our governor and all of our congressional staff. But there was a mix-up in the terminology about the airport, whether or not it was a public, whether or not it was a public entity, and it got turned down. Now, FEMA pays the difference what insurance doesn't pay to cover you, and it is a nightmare to deal with. I spent, in my 34 and a half years in the military, I responded to nearly every major disaster this Commonwealth has ever seen. Ice storms, floods, tornadoes. I can go on and on. And I have been trained in Emmitsburg, in one of the most secure locations in our country, a place called Mount Weather, Virginia. Look it up. It used to be classified top secret, and it's not anymore with FEMA. I am not necessarily a doomsday sayer, but I am a conservative Christian who believes this country is in for some tough times ahead of us. It's pure and simple. You can read the tea leaves. You might want to quit watching evening news. I don't care what channel you watch. I don't care what channel you watch. You might want to quit watching it, because if anybody thinks our getting out of Afghanistan the way we did was a good thing, you're on the wrong planet. There's other things coming down the pike we don't yet know. But I offer myself to you tonight to be a person who has experienced most stressful situations in war, in disaster response, and emergencies. I believe that's the kind of person you want leading this county in the days to come. Talk about the future just a minute, and I'm not going to talk long. I think I had scheduled for 15 minutes. I didn't watch my time. I don't want to run over. How am I doing? I'm probably wrap it up. 20. I'm 20. I better shut up. I better shut up. Anyway, going in the future, I'm going to just name some things we want to do in the next 4 years, and I believe we can do them. I believe we can do them. I've talked to the mayor of Perryville, Carlos Miller. Talked to the mayor of Junction, Jim Douglas. We have plans to utilize our ARPA funds to help improve the water and the clean water systems in those communities. Now, everybody knows Danville City Water owns the water. And there is a repair order in Perryville on their wastewater treatment site. Rather than Perryville residents being hit with a potential another rate hike because of the repairs that need to be in place, our physical court, I believe, is willing to put money, ARPA funds in, to fix that system so we can have a reduction of 5%, hopefully, or better, in Perryville and Junction City, with a pretty good statement that for the next 20 years, barring a catastrophic event, there should not be any rate increases on water in those communities. I'm working with AT&T and Spectrum and others. I'm waiting for more money to come from our state. Has a fund of $320 million through the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority to help field fiber wired to the house broadband for every residence in this county. And some of my wish lists just recently got filled in my partnering with your representative, Daniel Elliott, who is down at a candidate forum in Casey County tonight, or he had been here. But it just got funded for a South Buster Pike. If anybody's driven across that old wooden bridge over South Buster Pike, over the railroad track, when you walk across it, it vibrates. And it's rated at 9 tons, and I wouldn't chance that for all the tea in China. But what I did and worked with Daniel, and they got it approved in the road budget, is that Norfolk Southern will contribute $200,000 to demolish the bridge. And the reason they want to do that is so they can rehabilitate and update that track below it that is sinking into the ground. Now, I told Norfolk Southern, you can take it down yesterday, but I got to have a new bridge. And they didn't want to do it. But anyway, we got it worked out. We're working with Representative Sal Santorum, Daniel Elliott, and others. We now have an approved budget of $1.6 million to put a new span bridge across that, and that will help with the fire trucks and ambulances providing emergency medical services to that part of the county along Faulkner Station Road and Buster Pike. Magistrate Jason Cullen's here tonight, and he was very instrumental in making sure that I didn't waver on that, and stood my ground in making sure we got that. And I want to contribute much of our successes to his advice, his counsel, and his support. But the other things we're doing, Kentucky 34, Lebanon Road, we're going to widen it from Alum Springs, Crosspike, 1,000 feet toward Lebanon with the shoulders on each side. And that's going to be improved, and so is Alum Springs Crosspike. We're also working to put $1 million toward design functions on expanding Kentucky US 52 between Danville and Lancaster to improve the safety of that curvy, dangerous road and open our logistics trail to Interstate 75. We're in the process of doing that. Again, I've spoken way longer than I needed to. I apologize. I wanted you to hear this, and I want to thank each and every one of you tonight for being here. Again, it means the world to me. What you do and your contributions and your donations are not taken for granted. You bless me greatly, and my commitment to you is I will do everything humanly possible with my experiences and the support of my family and my staff and my fiscal court, our fiscal court. Tom Ellis is here tonight. Ronnie Short is here tonight. Jason Cullen's here tonight. And these are all, yeah, it is a quorum. It is a quorum. Our sole purpose is to make Boyle County better. Better tomorrow than it is today.